Welcome to Nebula Nights, a place where we set aside the noise of the day and turn our gaze to the endless dark above. Tonight, we dive into one of the most haunting questions of our time, a question that sits between science and philosophy, between hope and dread. If the universe is filled with billions of stars and billions of planets, then where is everybody? This is the story of the Fermi Paradox, but it is also the story of us, of humanity's search for meaning, for connection, for survival. So settle in, breathe, and let's begin our journey into the silence of the stars. Before equations or physics, humans looked up at the night sky. The stars were mysteries, scattered like campfires across the dark. Every culture tried to explain them. The Greeks saw heroes frozen in the heavens. The Egyptians believed their gods sailed among the stars. The Mayans mapped the motions of Venus with precision beyond their time. The Polynesians navigated oceans guided only by starlight. The sky was a canvas of myth, of order, of guidance. But behind the stories lay the same quiet question: are we the only ones? In ancient China, philosophers wondered if other worlds could exist. In India, Hindu texts described countless universes, each with their own cycles of creation. And in Greece, the philosopher Epicurus argued that infinite worlds must exist, some like ours, some utterly different. But this was dangerous thinking. Giordano Bruno in the 16th century dared to claim that the stars were suns like ours, each with planets of their own. For this and other heresies, he was burned at the stake. Yet his vision was prophetic, a universe alive with possibilities. As telescopes improved, so did our understanding. Galileo, in 1610, pointed his telescope to Jupiter and saw moons orbiting another world. Suddenly, Earth was not unique. There were other systems, other places. By the 19th century, speculation about life on Mars was common. Some believed they saw canals carved by intelligent beings. Others imagined forests, oceans, alien cities. It was imagination running ahead of science, but it showed the hunger we've always had to know. Are we alone? To understand the paradox, we must meet the man who gave it its name. Enrico Fermi was born in Rome in 1901. A boy fascinated by physics and mathematics, shaped by the sudden death of his older brother. He immersed himself in science to fill the void. By his 20s, he was already a leading mind in theoretical physics. Fermi's genius was not just in theory, he was also a master experimenter. He built the world's first nuclear reactor. He won the Nobel Prize in 1938, but his life was caught in the tides of history. As fascism rose in Italy, Fermi's wife, Laura, who was Jewish, faced persecution. They fled to America, where Fermi became part of the Manhattan Project. It was here, in 1950, at Los Alamos, that the famous question was born. During a lunch with fellow scientists, they joked about UFOs and the possibility of intelligent life elsewhere. The galaxy should be full of civilizations. But where were they? Fermi listened, then quietly asked, "Where is everybody?" It was not a dramatic moment, not a grand speech, just a simple, devastating question. If the universe is so vast and life so probable, why don't we see it? Why no signals, no visitors, no evidence? Thus, the Fermi Paradox was born, a puzzle that remains unsolved to this day. Let's step into the math of the paradox. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, has somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars. Astronomers now believe most stars have planets, and many of those planets lie in the so-called habitable zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right for liquid water. If even a tiny fraction of those planets can support life, the galaxy should be bursting with it. In 1961, astronomer Frank Drake formalized this into the Drake equation. It breaks the problem into pieces. R star dash the rate of star formation in our galaxy. Fp dash the fraction of stars with planets. Ne dash the number of planets per star capable of supporting life. Fl, the fraction of those planets where life actually appears. Fi, the fraction of life that becomes intelligent. Fc, the fraction of intelligent life that develops technology we can detect. L, the length of time such civilizations release detectable signals. Multiply those together, and you get an estimate of how many civilizations exist right now. Optimistic numbers give us thousands, even millions. Pessimistic numbers give us just one. The problem is not the equation. The problem is that we don't know the values. We only have one example, us. Yet even with conservative estimates, the paradox remains. The galaxy should be alive with voices, but the night sky is silent. The rare Earth hypothesis. Perhaps Earth is special, not just rare, but unique. Life may need a perfect balance of factors to exist, and our world may be one of the very few to have them all. We orbit in the habitable zone. Our large moon stabilizes our tilt, keeping climates relatively stable. Jupiter, our giant neighbor, acts as a cosmic shield, deflecting comets and asteroids. Our magnetic field protects us from deadly solar radiation. Plate tectonics recycle carbon, balancing the atmosphere. Each of these factors might be a cosmic lottery, individually common, but together vanishingly rare. Maybe Earth is not just a habitable world, maybe it is the habitable world. If so, then the paradox is no paradox at all. We are alone because life itself is unimaginably unlikely. But this raises another question. If we are so rare, then what responsibility do we carry? What does it mean if all of life's story exists only here, on this small blue world? Another theory suggests the silence is not because life is rare, but because survival is rare. This is the great filter. The idea is simple. Somewhere along the path from dust to intelligence to spacefaring civilizations, there is a barrier, a stage almost no one passes. It could be early. Maybe life itself is nearly impossible to begin. Or maybe simple life is common, but complex life, animals, brains, intelligence, almost never evolves. Or it could be late. Civilizations may rise, but technology becomes their undoing. Nuclear war, climate collapse, uncontrolled artificial intelligence. Civilizations destroy themselves before they can spread to the stars. If the great filter lies behind us, then we are rare survivors, one of the few to pass through. But if it lies ahead of us, then our silence is not just mystery, it is foreshadowing. Look at humanity's own story. We discovered fire and burned forests. We split the atom and built bombs. We created networks to share knowledge and filled them with conflict. What if intelligence itself is a trap? The smarter a species becomes, the faster it finds ways to destroy itself. Civilizations may burn brightly for a moment and then vanish, leaving no one to send signals. Perhaps the galaxy is filled with graves, not cities. The silence is not absence, but the echo of civilizations extinguished. But maybe they are not gone. maybe they are out there and silent by choice. Imagine a universe where predators may exist. Would you shout into the darkness, or would you remain quiet, listening, watching, hoping not to be noticed? Some suggest advanced civilizations have learned the dangers of being discovered. They hide their presence. They observe us perhaps, but never reveal themselves. It would explain the silence, not because no one is there, but because everyone is too afraid to speak. Another possibility, they are here. We just cannot recognize them. Ants live at our feet, oblivious to the cities we build. What if we are the ants, blind to civilizations beyond our comprehension? Perhaps they communicate in physics we cannot detect, or in dimensions we cannot access. They may live around us, above us, even through us, and we simply cannot perceive it. To us, they are invisible, not absent. Or perhaps civilizations do not die, they evolve. Imagine a species that masters artificial intelligence. Instead of colonizing stars, they upload their minds into digital worlds. Instead of building empires, they build simulations. To them, the physical universe is irrelevant, or perhaps they become beings of energy, light, or something beyond our imagination, no longer leaving behind cities or machines because they no longer need them. They are not silent because they are gone. They are silent because they have moved on. Among the many explanations, one of the most chilling comes from science fiction. In Liu Cixin's The Three-Body Problem series, the universe is imagined as a dark forest. Picture it, a vast forest at night. Every civilization is a hunter, armed and cautious. Each one knows that others may exist, but each one also knows that contact could be deadly. In such a forest, the safest strategy is silence. Do not speak, do not reveal yourself. Wait, listen, hide. Because in the dark forest, survival belongs not to the loudest, but to the quietest. If this is true, then the silence of the stars is not absence, it is strategy. A galaxy full of watchers, but none willing to speak first. It is not just a paradox, it is a warning. Despite the silence, we have not stopped listening, and we have not stopped speaking. In 1974, the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico sent a radio message into space. It was simple but elegant. Numbers, DNA, a human figure, a map of our solar system, a postcard to the stars. It was aimed at a cluster of stars 25,000 light years away. If anyone receives it and replies, we will not hear back for 50,000 years. But we sent it anyway. In 1977, two spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, were launched into the cosmos. Each carried a golden record, a time capsule of Earth, greetings in dozens of languages, music from across cultures, images of humanity, of animals, of landscapes, a message to whoever might find it, drifting for billions of years, a reminder we were here. In 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio picked up a signal, brief, strong, narrowband, unlike anything natural. It lasted just 72 seconds. The astronomer Jerry Amon circled it on the printout, writing "Wow" in the margin. It became known as the Wow signal. Was it aliens? A cosmic fluke? We may never know. But for a moment the silence cracked. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, has scanned the skies for decades. So far, no confirmed signals. But the search grows more powerful each year. Today, projects like Breakthrough Listen sweep the galaxy with immense sensitivity. The James Webb Space Telescope studies the atmospheres of distant exoplanets, searching for signs of life. We may be on the edge of discovery, or we may continue to find only silence. So, why does it matter to us? The Fermi Paradox is more than a question of astronomy. It is, at its core, a question about us. If we are truly alone, then life on Earth is not just rare, it is unique. Every forest, every ocean, every child born under the light of our sun is part of something that has never happened anywhere else in the universe. We would be the single flicker of consciousness in a sea of silence, a responsibility as much as a miracle. But if others are out there, then we are not the first to walk this path. Somewhere in the deep past, civilizations may have risen, stretched their hands to the stars, and then vanished. Their silence may carry lessons, perhaps about survival, perhaps about wisdom, or perhaps about dangers we have yet to face. In both cases, the paradox forces us to look inward. It asks us to see beyond our short lives, our politics, our conflicts. Because if the great filter lies behind us, then we have already achieved something almost no one else has. But if it lies ahead, then our choices will determine whether we survive or whether we too fade into silence. The question is not just where is everybody, it is also, what kind of civilization will we become? Will we be one that burns brightly and then collapses into silence? Or one that endures long enough to leave a mark upon the stars? A civilization that not only asks the question, but someday answers it. If you're still awake, take a moment to let your mind drift among the stars, to ponder what we may one day discover and what our place might truly be. Until next time, may the silence of the cosmos bring you peace and curiosity.